I call to order this meeting of the Warren County School Board for Wednesday, April 6th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on our agenda is to accept or modify the agenda. Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move that we accept the agenda as presented in both electronic and printed form.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Community participation. Is there anyone who would like to address the board? All these people out here, no one wants to come up and say something profound? Okay. Consent agenda. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Madam Chairman, I move the consent agenda be approved as distributed.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Reports. Staff reports. Instruction report. Mr. Fox.
Good evening, everyone. It is my privilege tonight to introduce some very special people from some wonderful programs that we have in Warren County Public Schools. Tonight we're going to highlight two programs, but before we do that, I need to thank Tim Grant and our other instructional guru, Mr. Greg Drescher, for helping us get everything ready for tonight's presentation. So we have two programs tonight to highlight. Project Lead the Way Biomedical, featuring Savannah Powell and Scarlett Reel. They are presenting tonight. Both have completed all 4 courses, starting with their freshman year in Principles of Biomedical Science, and they have finished that with their 4th and final course, Biomedical Innovations last semester. They are supported tonight by their teachers, Kelly Racy and Jennifer Anderson. At the conclusion of their presentation, we'll have Project Lead the Way Engineering with Caleb Malacote and Seth Jacobs. Both young men are from Warren County High School. They are 11th graders and are currently enrolled in digital electronics, which is 3rd period at the Blue Ridge Technical Center. Seth is also taking AP US History, AP Language and Composition, and Advanced Placement Physics. Caleb is at Mountain Vista Governor's School in the morning, where he takes calculus and physics. He's working on a few projects that sound quite interesting. One of these is rocketry. He has designed and made rocket fins with the 3D printer and plans on demonstrating a 3D printer that actually prints one of his fins. He is supported tonight by his instructor, Tom Breed, and all of them are supported by the director of Blue Ridge Technical Center, Miss Jane Baker. So it is my privilege to introduce Savannah Powell and Scarlett Reel.
Hi, I'm Savannah.
And I'm Scarlett.
Like he said, that we completed all 4 courses starting with our freshman year, so we have like a brief presentation of how it went. In our first year, we went through and investigated the death of a woman named Anna Garcia. And we went through activities such as crime scene investigation, glucose tolerance testing, to determine her cause of death and investigate what other health problems that have led her to die. These pictures are just only a few of the activities that we did in our freshman year. The bottom left hand shows our heart dissection because she died of a heart attack.
Yeah. The top left, we created a model of the human body and all of the systems, and each of the little blocks is a summary of all the systems and what they do.
The top right indicates the EKG that we tested on each other, different experiments that we did to see if it increased or lowered heart rate, made any changes in our heart rhythm. And then the bottom left shows a different method that we use to blow up a balloon by pumping water and air through 2 different beakers.
And they're called feedback loops.
The second course goes through an in-depth look of all the human body systems in our body, and we went through and determined the functions and purposes and how they all relate to each other. We dissected a couple different organs in this class, and then we also built these human body systems on mannequins with clay, so we can see where they went. And then actually the picture on the bottom left is the brain in these mannequins. And then the bottom right picture is a map of the brain that we actually used on swim caps. We drew the map of the brain and the different lobes and the functions of the lobes on either side of the swim caps.
The top right is our cow eye dissection. It was really interesting. We laid out all the parts of the eye along with the labeling, and we got to play with the little parts of it. It's a lot cooler than you think it is. And then on the top left, that's one of the eye tests that we conducted.
The third course is medical interventions, and we take that in our junior year. We follow the Smith family and all of the health issues that this family has, and they have a lot more than is probably normal for every family. We look and diagnose and treat several diseases that these particular family members face. We perform many labs working with bacteria such as E. coli. We got to make antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which is making E. coli resistant to streptomycin. And then we isolated our own DNA and performed a PCR to see what different genes we have.
We also created a family tree for the Smith family to show how all of their diagnosis and problems pass down through their family.
The bottom left picture shows us, or is like the plates working with our E. coli after they were in the incubator. And then the bottom right shows the
PCR machine that we separated our DNA with.
And then the top right is us staining the plates with the E. coli. And then the top left is myself and a couple of classmates working on the ELISA test. The fourth course is our capstone project, which is basically a summary of all 4 years that we did, which puts all of what we learned in the first 3 years into one. And we actually put together a senior project, or a capstone project, that we work all through the year on, as well as different projects in the class. And actually, I have mine over there. That's our final product. We want to create our own innovation that would help the medical field further. And then that is the very first project that we did of our senior year. It was a fetal pig autopsy. And we got to go through and see how someone would do an autopsy just on a pig. And then that's actually Scarlett and I holding up the small intestine. And then that's all we have.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, stay up there. We may have some questions for you. Tell me what you took away from all of this and how it's preparing you for what do you want to do in the future.
I personally took away more in-depth things that you learn about the human body rather than you would in a normal anatomy class or, a biology class. We got to work with a group of kids that were so interested in learning more about the medical field and got to do so many things that most kids won't get to do until college, or if ever, if they decide to major in any medical field.
The first course for me, we kind of went through careers in the medical field, and that's when I kind of started opening my mind to the medical field itself. After that, going through all the projects and stuff that we did, I really liked it. And then the final project that we did our senior year, I did something with surgeons. I got to go into Warren Memorial Hospital and watch surgeries, and I kind of used that to help with my final project, and I got accepted into my college, and I'm going to be a surgical tech.
Good for you.
Because the gross stuff interests me.
Are both of you interested in a medical career?
I actually changed my intended major. I'm actually going to double major in sociology and criminal justice.
Okay.
However, but I still love everything about the medical field. I loved working with Miss Anderson all 4 years of my high school career. And like I said, it was really nice being with kids that actually want to learn and want to have that hands-on activities throughout high school. And it was a lot of fun, and it's so much different than your normal classes. And it helped out in a lot of my high school classes, actually, because I remember, oh, hey, I just did this in biomed, you know, like, so it really helped out a lot throughout my high school years.
My anatomy class was the easiest thing I've ever taken after taking the biomed class.
I really do highly recommend it for other like kids to take it starting out as freshmen, and then like it's not really advertised as much as like I think that it should, because it helps out. It really does help out a lot.
Yeah, like my freshman year, I didn't know I wanted to go into the medical field. I was just kind of like walking around being a freshman, and then all the careers, we had to do journal entries on them and research the like salary that they get and what they do, and that was awesome to me.
That's great. Well, thank you both for coming and presenting tonight and getting
It
up and
was
speaking. You did very well.
Thank you for having us.
Thank Something else.
Very impressive.
That's okay.
Yes. You know, like throw everything up top. Yeah. Yeah. I'm working. You got stuff. Ready? All right. I'm Seth Jacobs.
I'm Caleb Malakut.
And we both started our third year of the Project Lead the Way for Engineering and Design. Our first year consisted of a lot of the foundational work in which engineers do, like learning how to do a scientific journal, working through some of our CAD programs. We even designed most of the components for a car or constructed them within that CAD program. And we have an example of a blown up version of that. As one of our side projects they had us do, they wanted us to develop a puzzle cube. And so we had to design each of the little pieces and parts in our CAD program and learn how to assemble them together. And this is all the start of us learning to build things, put them together, understanding what the beginning of the engineering process is, and we learned the design process from beginning to end, prototyping, problems, everything. It's a great start. You?
Yeah, so the second year was a little bit more math-based. At the start, you had introduction to thermodynamics with equations and learning how to calculate statics with bridges and centroids and moments. Then you got into programming. So we had a project, it was a marble sorter, where we used light sensors and things to sort marbles into different containers. We had one project with programming that was a car we had to go back and forth, and it took us 2 weeks to get it to move.
Yeah. The body had been done by that time.
Yeah.
You were slowing us up with
I'm
programming.
sorry. Programming was bad. But, yeah, here we're working on a couple of different marble sorting projects and programming and others. This is the year that's going on right now, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This.
And part of the programming is leading into our digital electronics, which Caleb and I are currently enrolled for this year and plan to take the fourth year next year. We started off with simple gate logic, so ones, zeros, AND gates, OR gates. And we built that into then truth tables, so like circuits, what goes into what comes out. And like if we're trying to get these parameters, so like certain sensors go off, how do we construct it so only it reads this? We worked on number generators, timers. We've done breadboarding, so taking these concepts and putting them onto actual breadboards so we can manipulate them, try and figure out what goes wrong when we don't hook things up right. Part of the breadboarding also led us to soldering, so we've constructed some circuits. We've built a random number generator using the information we've learned. We've currently moved on to adding logic, so like adding numbers to get other numbers, binary counting. Mr. Breed informs us that later on we plan to use this logic systems to generate autonomous robots that move around the room or mazes, and we'll get there someday.
Someday. Not today.
Not today. And we have people working on breadboarding, looking at binary, looking at our truth tables and simplifying truth table logic. So instead of having 20 terms, you only have 6 or 7 that you only have to worry about.
I believe everyone in the pictures are actually working on the same circuit. I think we're all working on the fireplace circuit. Yeah.
That was one of our
That
more
took
recent big
forever.
projects. All the gates. Anything you want to say, Caleb?
Okay, so the fourth year is basically you are generating your own project and working through it. So this is what we're going to be doing next year. We choose a issue that we want to fix. Then we're going to design something to fix the issue. Then in the picture, that's one of the seniors, Carl, and his partner. Who's his partner's name? Zach. And they did a lawnmower project where they had a extendable arm that had a
Weed eater?
weed eater on it.
And that's also our capstone project. We're going to take the previous years to develop, if it's electronic, what's our coding requirements, what's our wiring requirements, and we're also going to build some device or capstone project.
We have a couple things from a 3D printer. This is what actually just finished printing. We've printed another one of these screws. Any of you want to?
I saw one earlier, but you can pass them around.
I've drawn them for rocket fins too, so.
So
What's
that
a
rocket
rocket
fin
fin?
Caleb was actually one of his classes. We mentioned rocketry. Caleb was building a rocket, and he's like, where do I get a fin? Well, we could use the 3D printer to print whatever fin design he was looking for, and so it helped with his project. And I know some of the other students that use the fourth year like the 3D printers because it's printing unique parts or odd-sized parts that's what they were looking for, but you can't buy them or find them elsewhere. So the 3D printer is helping with making the projects unique or other constraints with like part requirements.
What is breadboarding?
Breadboarding is... We should have brought that. So a breadboard is a plastic plate of sorts with an underlying series of metal strips that don't connect. So what you do is you can take wires and jump across these lanes or rows and build circuits. So you hop from like a chip to then like another chip. And so it's an easy way to build a circuit, like a general circuit, and like put all your little chips and everything in there before you say go to mass production. Or if like something's not working, you can sit there and figure out, okay, I have current here, I don't have current here, why not? Oh, I have this wire wrong. And so it's like you design a circuit. Breadboarding's that stage between design and then final production of a circuit on a more mass-producible scale.
Okay. Are you both interested in going into engineering?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking to be an aerospace engineer.
I'm not sure, but mechanical engineering is on the list of interested topics.
Good for you. You say the word engineering and I just, my mind doesn't function that way, but that's great. That's great. Thank you for coming tonight and presenting. Does anyone else have a comment or question?
Thank you very much. Good luck to you. MIT, Virginia, maybe? Virginia? UVA's got a pretty good engineering school.
I'm looking at UVA.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
I'm partial to Clemson a little bit too from mechanical engineering.
Just a comment from some of the community members that are on the advisory committee for the engineering program, which has been around a bit longer. I know these guys are scientists and it is rocket science and that kind of thing, but what they really appreciate is the fact that Project Lead the Way teaches them the scientific principles, the scientific method of coming to a solution and that kind of thing, and they say that is just something that seems to be missing in education these days, in higher education.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
And there's one more somewhere.
Where they're all at.
Okay, superintendent report.
Well, I just want to start off by saying that quite an impressive presentation. Thank you to our students and to our teachers that came tonight. That was great. Whenever I hear something like this that our students are doing, I know our world's going to be in pretty good hands. So thank you for putting me at ease. Appreciate that. So I have several things tonight. I'd like to introduce Danelle Sperling, if she could just raise her hand. Hi, Danelle. Danelle is just appointed as our new LFK principal. She comes to us from Rappahannock County, where she currently serves as the high school assistant principal. Previously, she worked in Warren County for us and was a much respected special education teacher. And we are very happy to have her rejoin our staff in a leadership position. So we're very excited that she's here. Thanks for being here tonight. And then at our last meeting, you approved Amy Gubler as our new middle school principal, and she was unable to be here. The middle school opens the fall of 17, and you'll remember we're going to have our principal in place for an entire year helping us get ready, and we're very excited about that. We're very happy to have Amy move into this position as well. She's done an outstanding job at LFK. She's leaving you a great school, Danelle. And even though she was only there for a year, she's made a great impact, and we look forward to her working at our new middle school. So thank you for being here, Amy. All right. Building projects, speaking of the middle school, continue on schedule. This past week, we began our twice monthly progress meetings at the middle school site. I'd just like to remind everybody that those of you that are on Facebook, please like Warren County Public Schools Facebook page. We do post pictures of the site on that page, as well as other school system news. We do have a request to the public in general. It's exciting to see this middle school project, and it's understandable. There's a temptation to want to kind of walk up there and see what's going on, and we just ask that you not do that during the whole construction process. The general public should just not be on site with that invitation. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that. And just an invitation to board members, and I also did this with the Board of Supervisors or other specific staff. If you have interest in viewing the site, just please talk with Melody, and we'll set up a time to go do it. And I know we already did that, which is really cool. It just allows us to keep the pace of things going. But we do want you to see it, so please do that. Preliminary work for Ressie Jeffries projects, which we've been talking about for the last months, is moving forward. We met last week on the parking lot portion of the project. Today we met with Amoresco as kind of our first project meeting. Things are going to be rolling here pretty quickly. At the end of the month, you'll start to see some things happening division-wide with lighting and water fixtures. So we'll start to see that happening. But you'll really see things take off in our schools in terms of upgrading the energy needs probably June 5th, because June 2nd is the last day of school, and they say as soon as we're out of there, they're coming in. We also met with Ressie Jeffries planning for the new playground. Since the parking lot we're doing is taking one of their playgrounds, we need to work on that. Other school news, we're in the selection process for students to attend Mountain Vista Governor's School. Next year will be the first time that 10th graders are able to go. There's a real opportunity here, and one of the advantages to the program is students that attend Mountain Vista Governor's School earned college credit at the same time. And in fact, this year we're going to have 4 of our high schoolers earn a 2-year degree from LFCC this year. So that's pretty cool. And with 10th graders going there, we'll be able to have more students will have that opportunity to get those degrees. That's very neat. We have a number of events going on. The spring musical at Warren County Middle School was a great success. Both Skyline and Warren County have plays happening this month. In fact, I think the opening night's tomorrow night at Warren County High School. Spring sports is in full bloom, ready to go. Every night I think something's happening. Our elementary schools are having programs. Word on hiring. We're early in the hiring season, and it's really too early. Mr. Smith and I talked about this today. It's a little too early to say what's a trend. Are we in a trend or not? I'll just give you some numbers. At present, we've had 10 teachers that have resigned. We've had 5 teachers retire, and we've had 1 administrator resign. So that's a total of 16. And I think this time next month, we'll be able to give you a better picture of where we think we are that way. And my final comment is this coming Tuesday at 7 p.m. is the public hearing on the county budget. I would invite board members and public to attend that. I'll be making a statement at that meeting as well regarding the budget. And we just want to ensure, and the message I would say that's coming from the school division is that we want to ensure we have the best teachers we can get and hang on to. And this means our salaries and benefits need to be more competitive than they currently are. The second part of the message I believe we're saying is that we have a desire to create a plan that addresses salaries long term, as well as addressing supports needed to run an effective school system. Things like maintenance, transportation, technology, student supports, instructional programs. The community of Warren County does support our schools. And I believe this support will only grow when we show things like we showed tonight, that what we're able to do with our students. But I do think it's important for everyone to understand the facts related to our spending on schools and how that compares to our regional neighbors, because there is a difference. So, but that is all I have.
Okay, thank you. School board reports. Mr. Williams?
Yes, Madam Chair. I would like to start off with the biomed ladies and the engineering gentlemen. You guys are so impressive. The energy that you put out there, you can just tell you're excited. The teachers, thank you very much. I mean, it was just like, wow. I mean, the room was excited. It was like at a basketball game, and it was the final seconds. Somebody made a shot and won by 2 or 3 or whatever. But that was just so impressive. So thank you so much, and I wish you the best in your endeavors, and I know you will succeed. Second thing is, with everything going on, Mr. Drescher at Ressie Jeffries and all the press out there, I've had 4 or 5 people, just residents, don't have students in school, just stop and chit-chat about, wow, we saw and we heard and we read, and the excitement that's building in town, because people go, well, I know you went to school there and it looked the same as it does today, and I'm like, yeah, it did. So it's nice to hear those things, that the community is behind what everybody is throwing out there. So just thanks to everybody. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Rosen?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you all too. It was a very impressive presentation. I'm a retiree from the healthcare world, so the biomed is, I've been familiar with some of that in other places that I've served, and you all have done a fantastic job. My oldest grandson is beginning to get into engineering, so I think he's probably going to end up being an engineer if his mother and dad will take the phone away from texting that young lady that's in school. But anyway, he's going to get through with that.
They can relate to that. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
I know. Yeah, I know. Old granddad's got to keep up with these folks, learn where they get all their stuff. The other thing, it was such a pretty day, except being windy. There was a lot of dust. I went on a little construction ride myself to some of my favorite projects, 2 of which are just county. That's Morgan Ford Bridge. They've started working on that so we can have a safe way of getting from one side to the other of the river. The other one was Leeches Run Parkway, which is quite impressive. They're moving dirt like crazy now and moving along. And then the middle school where the wall's going up. And I thought I saw Melody in a hard hat laying brick. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just, it was you. Good. But looking forward to the construction. And Ressie Jeffries particularly, I think it's going to be a good move on our part to get that done. That's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. McKeithron?
Well, I echo everyone's comments on you guys. I mean, you did an awesome job, and said the excitement is definitely noticed. I also went to the athletics fundraiser the other night. It was very well attended. People seemed to be very, very generous with their contributions and the silent auction items. The food was fabulous. Devin Smith catered the food from the culinary arts there at Blue Ridge Tech, and so that was really nice. I also went to a play, which you went to also, at the middle school, Hairspray. That was, talk about energy. I mean, it was awesome. I just can't really say enough. And like Pam Dyke says, it does take a village. You don't realize until everybody comes out at the end how many people it really does take to pull that off. So I really enjoyed that. And I did get a tour of the middle school construction as well. And like you said, the walls are going up, and that's very exciting. And it's going to be just another awesome project we're going to have here. So that's all for me.
Thank you. Mr. Wells?
Just to follow up on the Project Lead the Way, both programs and the instructors at those programs, we've got some fantastic instructors is one thing, and along with Ms. Baker, they understand that VOTech is moving more towards tech from VO, and that we are here in Warren County, we are keeping up with those changes in the world and working at that. Don't worry about not knowing a lot about medicine. You could still become a hospital administrator.
I consider both.
somewhere down the road.
Somewhere down the road.
But also, I did not get the opportunity because of scheduling issues, but heard from several community members about the hairspray and how well they did, and the energy of middle school was just great, that we're able to provide some art studies and that kind of thing, some opportunities for them. And again, to our two new principals, welcome. We look forward to working with you, and I know you'll do a great job, and we appreciate you coming to Warren County.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually, Jim, I started as a lab technician in the military, and that's what generated an interest in going into the healthcare field. But I didn't particularly want to get in the operating room. I wanted to manage.
And I just want to piggyback on what Mr. Williams said earlier about so much energy, about what's going on in our community with our students. And I think a lot of that has to do also with reporters that we have that are covering a lot of these events and really highlighting our students, and I appreciate that. Thank you to the biomed students and the Project Lead the Way. You all are great, and I know you will do well in the future, and you'll get to your dreams. This past week I attended the Mountain Vista Governor School Shrimp Fest, and was the athletic event right after that, the same evening?
Right at the same time.
The same time, and Devin Smith catered both events. Wow. Devin Smith is our culinary arts instructor at the VOTech Center, and he's phenomenal. He's a great guy. The work that he does with the students is wonderful, and he utilizes the students in helping with these catering events, and it's nice to see. I also attended the Hairspray Junior musical on Sunday, and that was really wonderful. These 6th and 7th graders that get up there and perform just amaze me, because I would never, I struggle with getting up here, you know, and you all got up and did your presentation, and you were wonderful. So it's just amazing what these kids can do now. And I think that's all I have. Are we going to be getting a nice sheet of all of the different activities coming up between now and the end of the school year, so we can try to plug in, because it's just crazy busy this time of year.
Yeah, it is.
There's something just about every night. Okay, great, thank you. Next on the agenda, and if you all don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting, you're welcome to leave. Mr. Breeze looking like, what is that, don't you dare, or what? Presentations by staff. Increased substitute nurse credential requirements and daily pay rates. Mr. Smith.
I'll be the transition here. I'll tell a joke or something while we move through this process.
That's probably a good move, you know.
Good evening to all, and thanks for all the presentations earlier. They were awesome, and all the things that are going on inside our schools with the extracurricular activities and the different type of projects. So it's awesome to see the kids not only perform on fields and stages and those type of things, but bring to us here what they're doing in the classroom, because what kids know today is amazing. Amazing. All right, I'm going to talk about something else that's amazing here. We're going to talk about a little bit about kind of improving our substitute nurse program. I'll read down through the sheet and that you have here in front of you. and then we'll field some questions and those type of things. Several years ago, Warren County Public Schools made a requirement for all nurses to go from an LPN to an RN license. Nurse substitute requirements were not changed at that particular time. However, with the increased needs of providing some of the trained medical services, especially for students with health care plans and the daily challenges faced by a school nurse, I feel it's imperative when school nurses are absent to provide nurse substitutes who are licensed and are trained professionals. Those individuals and we identify these as the areas of credentials, an EMT, a CNA, LPN, and RN certifications would provide a certified base of knowledge able to handle the daily attentions of students as required by a school nurse. Our source for teachers is our new substitute instructional and clerical providers. However, that organization, as we knew up front, they do not provide substitute coverage for nurses. So we still continue to handle that in-house in the system. Currently, we employ 8 full-time registered nurses, and absenteeism amongst the nurses is minimum. But in order to secure licensed nurse substitutes, the currently daily rate of $55 to $60 per day is not adequate to attract licensed medical professionals. It's really difficult to find people who feel comfortable to go in and to serve in that role, in that capacity, without some type of certification. We do provide training. Mr. Hirsch, who I believe is here this evening, his office provides with Dina Lee training. And Mr. Hirsch has looked regionally at the regional area and identified as $90 per day is perceived as an adequate daily rate to attract individuals with such credentials. The cost and financing, after speaking with Mr. Ballantyne, the cost will be covered within the existing substitute budget.
Do we have a list of people with those credentials that we can call on when we need a substitute?
Mr. Hirsch's group has reached out to several local areas, and we probably, with those type of credentials, could come up with 5 or 6 people that we currently have that we could reach out to.
Okay. But we don't require that too often?
As far as having
getting substitutes for the nurses?
Not very often. It's amazing with people who work in the medical field that they're around so many germs and those type of things all the time, and perhaps that's what almost makes them immune to it, perhaps. But it seems like they're the ones that...
It does.
Yeah, but those are the ones who tend to pull through a lot of the flu seasons and a lot of the different illnesses and sicknesses that we have. And perhaps it is because they just become acclimated or immune to the...
Their first 2 years being around it, they might get a little sick, and then after that, they've built a strong immunity.
Yeah, it's been proven. There's studies in nursing staff and all that. Build up an immunity.
Which is a good thing.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Smith?
I was just curious about being the existing budget, substitute budget, what generally was the annual amount that we would spend by doing this?
On just substitute nurses?
Yeah.
That we have to dig.
Okay.
I don't have it off the top of my head.
All right.
But
I was just curious.
I'm not sure. It's not, our nurses aren't out very often.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move the Warren County School Board approve that nurse substitutes have either an EMT, CNA, LPN, or RN certification, and the daily pay rate of $55 to $60 be increased to a flat rate of $90 per day.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
Approval of 2016-17 school meal prices. Mrs. Shepherd.
Good evening. The Healthy Hungry Free Kids Act of 2010 requires school divisions participating in the National School Lunch Program to ensure sufficient funds are provided for meals served to students not eligible for free and reduced lunch. schools charging less than $2.78 are required to adjust the meal prices to cover the difference. Currently, Warren County's lunch prices for elementary school is $1.90 and $2 for middle and high school. The act allows school divisions to gradually raise the price of lunch until the minimum is met. Currently, the act caps the minimum rate at 10 cents per year. Based on our student lunch prices, Warren County Public Schools will be required to raise the lunch prices for 2016-17 to meet the minimum requirement. Our recommendation is that we increase elementary school lunch to $2 and middle and high school lunch to $2.10. If you'll look at the second page of your packet, you will see where we fall in line with lunch prices in our surrounding areas for the 2015-16 school year. At elementary school, we are third lowest, and at high school, we are second lowest out of eight school divisions. I'll be happy to try to answer any questions you may have.
I don't have any questions. It looks like we're below the average for the surrounding counties, and still pretty competitive. Any questions? Is there a motion?
Nobody wants to go ahead.
Motion. I move school lunch prices for 2016 and 2017 school year increase by 10 cents at the elementary schools to $2.10 at the middle and high to $2.10 to meet the requirements of the Healthy, Hungry, Free Kids Act.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Stay where you are. Approval of food service management contract.
On November 5th, 2014, Warren County Public Schools entered into an agreement with Sodexo to manage our food service operations. This agreement was renewed for the 2015-16 school year and will expire on June 30th, but contains a clause that allows us to renew this agreement annually for 3 additional years upon mutual consent of both parties. It is recommended that we renew for an additional year beginning July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017. And the agreement contains the following offerings. Sodexo guarantees $175,000 return. They offer a $6,000 annual scholarship to students in Warren County Public Schools. They contribute $6,500 to our backpack program, and they give $2,500 to introduce new programs to Warren County Public Schools. Sodexo currently provides healthy eating for students and staff, and they'll continue to do so. They create menus that are compliant with the Healthy, Hungry, Free Kids Act, and they serve fresh vegetables and fruit daily, and try to purchase locally whenever possible. Sodexo also trains their food service employees with proper handling, food handling, customer service, and safety. The recommendation is to continue our relationship with Sodexo for an additional year.
Okay, thank you.
The clause that talks about, in the write-up, it says 4 additional one-year periods. You said 3.
Right, so we've used 1.
So the original
So we have 3
contract was
additional
potentially
years.
a 5-year contract.
Absolutely.
Back in 2014.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. Before I do, I just want to say that having been here for quite a while, and the original contract with Sodexo was signed just prior to my joining the board, it's been one of the wisest decisions this board has made, and we've said that over the years, particularly in the last couple of years in shepherding us, being able to shepherd us through this Healthy, Hungry, Hunger-Free Kids Act and the federal regulations, and just reading some of the really significant stories about systems having a lot of blowback from the students, the parents, and that kind of thing. And we just seem to have moved right on through it without issues. We're meeting all the requirements. We're providing food for our kids at a, healthy food for our kids, and things like the backpack program and things like that are just, I guess, gravy, to use a food term off the top. But with that, I move upon approval of the proposed agreement amendments by the Virginia Department of Education, the superintendent be authorized to sign the proposed Sodexo Food Service Management Agreement Amendment Renewal number 2?
Yes, number 2.
For the 2016-2017 school year, and accept any administrative non-material changes as required by the Virginia Department of Education.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
In case we look like we're floundering up here a little bit, we are. We're using this new board docs tonight, so it's the first night we've had the computer, and then we have our paperwork also. And like Mr. Rosen said earlier, we need a bigger table space here.
Expand this.
But we're trying to navigate both, and I think I'm getting it. I think I'm getting it.
Ray's going to talk to county administrators, see if we can get this thing bigger.
First reading, February 2016 VSBA School Board Policy Updates.
I would like to add something to the last thing. We have Sue Ann Fox here, who manages Sodexo, and she's done a really nice job with that. We actually went from the school system having to help fund the food service program to it being self-funded, so it really was a wise decision. So. On to the next agenda item. In February 2016, VSBA submitted 11 policies for consideration by the school board. A chart showing all the updated policies has been prepared by staff members noting the proposed changes. An additional 26 policies were presented for review but have no recommended revisions. This is the first reading. There'll be an opportunity to discuss the changes at the April 20th work session, and final approval is scheduled for the May 4th, 2016 meeting. I just want to highlight two of the policies which we're continuing to review. That is IKFD, which is Alternative Paths to Attaining Standard Units of Credit, and it's a new optional policy. And the other policy that we're reviewing is JHCH, which is School Meals and Snacks. So we want to, we'll provide additional information at the next school board meeting on those two policies and our recommendations on those. Are there any questions I can answer currently?
None from me.
No, I don't have any. No.
Okay.
Could I
Yes.
ask one question?
Certainly.
Not that all of these policies don't affect students, parents, and that kind of thing, but that JHCH, is it possible we could put that out by itself on the website or something so that folks could take a look at it? Because I know we've had some controversy over the years. This was controversial when it went through the legislature and was revised, and I just wouldn't like the public to have a good chance to see it before it's...
Absolutely. So it's actually on board docs. I put them up today and over the last week, so it is there. We'll make sure that there's a link on our website to make sure that people see it readily. So, and it should be featured on board docs. There should be a tab for policies.
Well, there are 5
I don't see what you're seeing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
We can also put a link on our Facebook page.
Absolutely. We can do that too.
This is right here? Okay.
JHCH. It just gives a synopsis of it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, policy JHCH, the change that they're recommending is offering school-sponsored fundraisers that do not meet the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act. So that's where we have to determine whether we go for 0 or up to 30. So that's going to be... And, internally we've talked amongst ourselves about how far we've come along with healthy eating.
The number we can sponsor.
Yes.
Number of fundraisers we can sponsor.
Number of fundraisers that do not meet that Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So no action is required on this at this time. Any other questions for Mrs. Shepherd? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Presentations by Superintendent, VSBA Business Honor Roll.
This is a recent agenda item. There may be something on board docs that is part of what I tried to do, so I'm still learning to do this as well. The VSBA Business Honor Roll was started by Roy Boyles, who was a past board member here for a long time and was the president of VSBA for a year, so it was very nice. And during his tenure there, he started this program of honoring local businesses by the local school boards, and we've continued with that. And this evening, the form, I don't know if you see it or not, it's in the 3-pack of 3 paper that you got beside your computer there. We're recommending 3 local businesses to be honored this year. Blue, Justice, and Upton architects who are doing the architectural work for the new middle school. Charlie's Auto Repair. Charlie Sackett is the owner and does a lot of work with us with the CTE programs, and he's on the board as well. And then Howard Shockey and Sons, who is our the builder for the new middle school. So we thought those were appropriate folks to honor in this way, and we continue to appreciate their work with us. And I guess what I would ask at this time is, I have a resolution. It would probably be nice to read that into the minutes. I don't think we need to read it 3 times, but if somebody wouldn't mind reading the resolution, that would be fine with me. I just can pass it down. Who would like to raise their hand?
Stop wherever. I'll read it. Resolution 2016 Virginia School Boards Association Business Honor Roll. Whereas public schools and local businesses are an integral part of this community, and whereas many local businesses play a crucial role in supporting our schools, and whereas the economic health of our community, state, and nation depends on a strong public school system, and whereas collaboration between local public schools and local businesses strengthens schools and the business community alike by providing a well-trained and highly educated workforce, and whereas an excellent public school system is vital to the quality of life in this community and fundamental to preserving a strong democratic society now and in the future, therefore be it resolved that the Warren County School Board names Blue, Justice, Upton Architects to the, let me get these others, Charlie's Auto Repair and Howard Shockey and Sons to the 2016 Virginia School Boards Association Business Honor Roll, showing appreciation for the organization's ongoing support of this community's public schools. Your work has aided this community in focusing on the goal of providing the best public schools we can for every child who attends them. Okay.
I'll put them all together. We'll do that in just a minute. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is the discussions by the school board. There's a June 3rd, 2016 VSBA School Law Conference in Charlottesville. If anyone is interested in attending that, Mr. Wells is going. Please let Mr. Ballantyne know. I'm attending a conference in Roanoke on laser and dentistry, so I won't be able to attend to that. And then potential April 20th meeting agenda items. Please take the time to look over those. Is there any further business? We need to go into closed session. Is there a motion? Sure.
This motion is made that this open public meeting of the Warren County School Board become a closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711. The school board desires to discuss the following matters in a closed meeting. Section 2.2-3711A2, discussion or consideration of admission or disciplinary matters or any other matters that would involve the disclosure of information contained in a scholastic record concerning any student in Warren County Public Schools, specifically the request from a family for release from compulsory attendance pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.1-24.b and Section 2.2-3711A1, discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of employees of the school board, specifically an employee personnel issue. Be it resolved that the School Board of Warren County does hereby authorize discussion in closed meeting of the matters identified herein.
Second.
Mr. Valentine, please call roll.
Mr. Rosen,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mrs. McEtheren,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes.
Madam Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries. We are in closed session.